Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome back to the podcast, or welcome if you are new here. Today, I'm not just returning, I'm rising. I'm returning with full alignment, clarity, and a fire because this isn't just a comeback episode, it's a complete rebirth. So, where have I been? Over the past year, I've been walking through one of the most challenging seasons of my life. I've been showing up as an emotional anchor and an advocate for my grandparents during a really scary time. I watched both of their health deteriorate and honestly fighting for their lives in different ways, witnessing just how dismissive the medical system can be and having to rely on the tools and techniques I've learned what is actually good for our bodies, pairing that with mindset tips and transformation tools, finding a vision, having incantations, and really connecting your belief with what is possible for your health and for your life, and executing that in a generation that necessarily did not have those tools and techniques in the past. I was able to share a little bit of my knowledge and really hone in on the journey and make it not as difficult. So while I was navigating some of the most challenging and heart-wrenching, soul-wrenching time of my life, I ended up being able to stand as an advocate and take the lead in being there for my family. But at the same time, in the beginning of this year, I found myself facing my own health issues, energy lows, physical exhaustion, where I couldn't fake high performance. And I had to start sitting in the stillness and rebuild from the inside. So while I wasn't showing up publicly, I was doing a lot of deep inner work, questioning everything from my values to my beliefs, my energy, my identity, and even my fears. So let's talk about it, why this podcast is changing. I will be honest, in the beginning, I found myself in a different frequency when I was starting. And honestly, there was pieces of this podcast not being the full embodiment of me because I was still shedding the layers of people pleasing, of performing for value to be earned. So, performing for acceptance, approval, love, and trying to find my place in this world while blending in and hiding out rather than boldly starting to take up the space. So, I've let that version of myself go and honor and appreciate the version of me who needed that old model to feel safe. But now this podcast is all about truth, power, identity, energy, manifestation that's not just rooted in the fluff, but in your nervous system regulation, mindset shifts, and transformation, while incorporating God aligned strategy, because without strategy, there is no actual manifestation. This is for the woman who is either building her empire while healing. So, this next season is where I'm going to be completely speaking from embodiment, not just education, not just principles. You will hear a lot of solo episodes, raw conversations, mini trainings, and behind the scenes glimpses of what it looks like to really live a life led with alignment. I'm attracting dream clients, building this beautiful business higher than it's ever been, and living fully as her. And we're honestly going to be building the bridge between high performance with soft power, feminine magnetism with a little bit of ruthless execution without burnout, and faith led business with nervous system regulation and wealth. So, let me dive deeper for this principle for a moment. I ended up really learning how to embody the nervous system regulation last year as I was going through all these difficult times. It was the tools and the techniques that I had to incorporate within my own self to navigate just the day to day, whether it was breath work, taking time to just allow myself to breathe or journal. I had to really start to hone in on these tools really in full force so that I could navigate the chaos outside in my external world. If that's your language, you're in the right room. Let me be very clear. I am so grateful for the journey I'm on. And because of all that experience, I realized how I was not showing up vulnerably. I was not sharing my stories. And quite frankly, I am ready to take on a new embodiment approach. There's a beauty in being raw and real. And I'm no longer afraid and I no longer feel the need to hide out. I'm excited for you guys to see me literally grow on camera. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be real, for letting me evolve, for continuing to watch me evolve as we go on this journey together, and for meeting me right here in this moment. So, if this episode sparked something inside of you, share it with a woman in your life who's ready to rise, leave a review, screenshot, or tag it. And let's spread this frequency because we're not just launching a podcast at this point. We're relaunching a movement. This is her era, and let's fucking go.